Howdy everyone and welcome to my channel, and it's the end of, or near the end of 2022. So I just want to do this one final video, and this is more an advice to other videographers and photographers who are going to a wedding for the very first time. I've been asked this question before on how do you deal with another supplier. So me being a videographer, the question would be, how do you deal with photographers at a wedding? Because some people are stressed, you know, with the idea that they're going to go to a wedding, they might step on the photographer's toes if they're the videographer or vice versa, and they're stressed because, you know, as we all know, weddings are stressful anyway, and the last thing you want to do is get stressed out and have all these things in your head. So my advice, you know, is when you're going to a wedding, you know, find out who the, say, for example, I'm the wedding videographer, so I'll ring up the photographer, find out the details and go, hiya, my name's Liam, I noticed you're doing such and such as wedding. I'm going there, just wants to, you know, just give you a quick ring to see what time you get in there and, you know, break the ice and stuff like that. So by the time you get to the wedding, you already kind of know them. You get a little bit of a vibe, feel for this person and stuff like that. And most times, 99.99%, they're really nice. They're glad that you rang them, because they're also concerned of thinking, well, who's this videographer? Am I going to get to step on my toes? Some people just don't care. So in my opinion, that breaks the ice. Then you get to the wedding and you go, say, for example, the name is Sarah. I've rang them up and says, hi, Sarah, I've noticed you're going to the wedding. And so the last one I did was, Jake, his name was, and it says, oh yeah, did you get here? What time did you get here? And by the way, I've looked at some of your work, really like it, and, you know, took a bit of a nosy, and, you know, if I get in your way, just let me know and just give me a kick in the bottom. And I always do those little jokes to break the ice further, and most times, don't worry about it. And, you know, you get that little vibe because you want to be able to work with the other supplier without any stress, and it's much more easier. You know, the amount of times I've gone to a wedding and I've had such a great laugh, you know, I've got the best shots, we've worked together, you know, say for example, the aisle walk, if the bride and groom are walking down the aisle, you know, I've communicated with the photographer and he goes, well, how about I start at the top, you know, and when I get halfway through, I'll jump out of the way and you jump in and get the rest shot, and that's perfect for me. And or someone might stand on the chair and get that shot, and, you know, it's all about communication and key is the communication, you know. So I had one experience, my first experience going to a wedding and meeting a couple of photographers, and one of them was extremely rude. It kind of put me off for a bit. So I'm going to explain this, and I'm going to show a little tiny bit of a video. I go to this wedding in the morning. I get to the ceremony. There's one photographer there. She's absolutely fantastic. She's a lovely person, very down to earth. And she says, yeah, we've got the other photographer at the reception. So we go from the hotel where the bride's getting ready to the reception, and I see the other photographer. I go to shake her hand, and she's not interested whatsoever. She looks at my hand in kind of disgust, really, and I'm thinking, I feel a bit on edge, because I'm a people person. I love meeting people, I love talking to people, and I think at a wedding, if you're doing a wedding and you're in that industry, you've got to be a people person, because you're communicating with loads of people, not just the bride and groom, but the guests and, you know, the staff at the ceremony and wherever the ceremony is going to be. But anyway, I can try to communicate with her and says, oh, by the way, again, you know, if I get in your way, just let me know, kick me the bottom, or I'll look behind me and try to see if, you know, just signal me if you need me to move. And I did, you know, every time I was filming the bride and groom, there was a gazebo at the end, you know, where the bride and groom were getting ready. I was on one side. And if I needed to move, I'd look around and just see the photographer and see if they're taking photographs and signal to say, is it okay that I just move on to this side and get a back shot? And she just, dirty looks, really awful dirty looks. She just didn't want me there. And the aisle walk is, you can see I have two cameras. I've got one at the bottom, you know, just to capture the back end of the you know, where the bride and groom are walking to the camera. I always have two shots. And I mentioned to the photographer, she didn't seem very happy about it. I pull it onto the side. As I walk down to the aisle, she stops me and she starts swearing, saying, effing this, fuck this, you've got on my fucking way and stop, can you fucking not get in my way again? This actually, guest looks up in embarrassment, and even she came up to me and says, are you all right? Because that was kind of embarrassing. But on the aisle walk, you see me walking away, and there's a lot of room as we're both walking down, the groom and bride, on the right-hand side and she's on the left. And we're trying to, walk down, and she just suddenly throws a temper. You can see it. He's done it again, walks off. And I feel this animosity. I feel this horrible stress level. So I jump out of the way, get out of the way, because I know I've got my back, the camera, and then both of the photographers just jump in, block the camera off the back. And she gives me a dirty look. And throughout the whole day, she gave me a dirty look. So I tried to talk to her, say, look, I'm trying to get these shots. She's going, no. I talked to the guy who sorted out the venue, and is the brother of the bride, and he says, don't worry about it. It's not the first time she's done it, and she just wants to get all the best shots for herself, and that's it. Now, so in order to stop this kind of animosity towards the other supplier, again, just get in contact with the photographer, or if you're a video photographer, get in contact with the videographer and just get to know them, get a vibe off them and say, look, I'm going to be there at such and such. When you get there, say hi, give them a handshake and just talk to them and see what the vibe is. If you get a good vibe, some people have joked around with me and had a laugh. Like I said, we will walk, the aisle walk where I did one aisle walk, and the photographer says, well, I'll start at the top, and I'll once we get to the middle, I'll jump out of the way and you jump in and get the rest of the shot, and that's perfect for me. There's with the dance, the same thing. With the dance, I'll get, do you mind if I get like a minute and you jump in and get the rest of them? That's perfect for me. I've had one wedding where a photographer's kind of like, who's quite bossy, and this is one thing I've got to say as well. If you're the photographer, and this works in both ways. If you're the photographer or the videographer, and I've had this a few times where photographers have said to me, well, the photographer is the most important more than videographer, so we come top and you need to stand out of the way when I'm doing this. And they act like, I've had it a few times where they act like the boss, and like I did a wedding dance, and one says, why, do you mind if I just jump in and take some photographs? I went, yeah, that's fine. And before you jump, and the dance was going on for about, he says, I'll signal you when you come in, and the dance was going on for about about a minute and a half, and he didn't signal me, and I just thought, oh, fuck this. He wanted all the best bits, so I got in, and he kind of says, I didn't signal you. I went, look, mate, a dance nearly goes on for about 2-3 minutes, and you're hogging all the space, and you're not allowing me to get in, so I'm not going to stand by when I've been paid to do a video, and you're expecting me to what, And he didn't like that, because he goes, well, the photographer's the most important part. We're kind of the boss here. And I thought at that point, I've had that about 2 or 3 times where someone says the boss. Now, if someone tries to contact, act that way and says we're the boss, and with this, I've had a videographer called Anna, and she went to a wedding. There was 3 lads with the photographers, and they acted exactly like that. We're the boss, and they tried to push her out the way, and the 3 of them ganged up on her. The bride found out, and she was really pissed off that they got compensation for it, and they got bad reviews for the photographers, which I agree with. But again, it's not just photographers. Videographers do exactly the same thing. They'll jump in and they don't communicate well with the photographer. You've got to communicate. That's the key. If you can't communicate and you're there to get all the best shots and you don't care, you're not going to have a great day. And the thing is as well, is if you talk to the other, the other supplier, and they're not interested, they don't, like that one, I tried to shake her hand, she was all, all a bit grumpy going down the aisle and wanted all the best shots. I've had it probably 2 times now. Not as bad as the video showed, but I've had it 2 times where someone is coming and they've just, they want the best shots, they want you out of the way, and they don't want to communicate. Then in your head, all you've got to do is bite the bullet and do your job. Just do your job. You're there to do your job, and that's it. Get the best shots. Make sure you're not hogging the limelight, trying to get all the best bits. Get in your position. make sure you have the position is, the photographer's got a position, and that's it. Just you your job, that's what you've been paid for. But most of the time, 99.99%, you are going to get on well with the photographer if you get to know them first. There are going to be assholes out there on both sides. Trust me, I've seen it, I've been there, and I've tasted that sour patch where one photographer's been a complete asshole. So yeah, so I hope that gives you a bit of an essence when you go into a wedding, because it's hard enough, working 10 to 15 hours a day, and being on the stress levels of another person. So my final thing is just say, get in contact with the other supplier. Even sometimes ring the venue up and say, hi, I'm coming to the wedding on such a day. Because, amount of times I rang a venue and they're like, oh, thank you for ringing us first. And, I'm looking forward to you getting here. Send a little email, and that's all you've got to do. If you communicate very well, you don't have to be like kissing ass. You just need to communicate a little bit, and it's going to make your day so much better. So again, just get in contact with the other supplier, the photographer mainly, because that's who you're going to be working with, and the other way around, and just get to know each other. When you get there, shake their hands. Oh, what time do you get here? Blah, blah, blah. Just talk about anything, really. And you'll get a vibe. And most of the time, I guarantee you will have such a better time at weddings. And this goes on not just for weddings, but other events as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a bit of a long video, but it's one I wanted to be doing for quite a while, because most of the time I've met fantastic photographers and suppliers. I think most of the time that's what's gonna happen. But you will get, on the other occasion, that idiot who thinks they're the limelight, they want to get the best shots, and that's on both sides of the equation, photographer and videographer. So thank you so much for watching my videos in 2022. All those people who subscribed and liked my channels, you've made my year an amazing one, and I hope 2023 will be the same. I'm hoping to grow my channel a lot better and give advice videos as I'm going on, and I hope you can join me in 2023. Until then, have a fantastic Christmas and a fantastic New Year, guys. I'll see you guys in 2023. Take care and goodbye and Merry Christmas.